Today I'm going to be doing a short tutorial for creating the basic melody of Aphex Twin's Polynomial-C on the Roland S-1. The S-1 was inspired by the classic Roland SH-101, which Aphex Twin used on many of his tracks, and most likely Polynomial-C itself. Here's what the final product will sound like. First, we're going to want to initialize this patch, and that will clear all of our note data and give us a basic square wave. I'm going to start by programming the sequence so we can play it and hear how it changes through sound design. So to start off, we're going to want to hit Shift and 4, which will open up how many steps the sequence is going to have, and we'll shift and turn this knob so it will extend all the way to 64. We're only going to do some of the melody due to the S1 64-step limitation. Of course, we could pattern change, but I'm just going to keep it simple this time. So we only need 4 notes, and that's E, A, C sharp, and G sharp. So step 1, we're going to start by hitting E, then A, then E, then A, then C. In step 6, we're going to give it a rest. So back at 7, we're going to repeat that whole pattern, E, A, E, A, C, and then we're going to give it another rest and do E, A, C. And so that's going to sound like this. And then we're going to repeat that whole pattern, and technically I could duplicate this pattern in the Roland S1, but it's so easy to punch in, I'll just do that. So restarting with step 17, E, A, C sharp, rest, E, A, C sharp, rest, E, A, C sharp. So all in all. Alright, and then here's where it changes up a little bit, but only minorly. We're going to pull in that G sharp and replace our A with it. So we're going to give it a rest, and then we do, so 32, step 32 is our rest, we restart on step 33. We go E, G sharp, E, G sharp, C sharp, rest, E, G sharp, E, G sharp, C sharp, rest. So 44 is our rest. 45, we restart, E, G sharp, C sharp. And then we do all of that again. So one more rest, E, G sharp, E, G sharp, C sharp, rest, E, G sharp, C sharp. And then rest, E, G sharp, C sharp, and then rest for 64. So all in all, it will sound like this. Now, as you can see, I kind of lost count, so just make sure that you get it. It's the exact same pattern twice. It's basically the same pattern, you just repeat over and over. And so all in all, it goes E, A, C. That happens 2 times, then E, A, C. And then we repeat all of that section twice, so a second time. And then we do the E, G, C twice, and then E, G, C. And then we do all of that twice as well. And that runs up to 64 exactly. Now that we have the sequence program, you might think that sounds pretty close, but it doesn't sound quite right. And that's because the original song is at a BPM of 144, if I'm not mistaken. However, I think that's a little too fast, so I bump it down to 142. You can kind of do it as you wish. So before we get too much into the sound design, I actually want to show the tuning. I have this tuned to 442 for A. Typical standard tuning is 440. I just thought things need to sound a little brighter, and so I bumped it up a little bit. All right, now that we have all of that worked out, let's get into the sound design. So first off, moving the range to 8 instead of 16, which is a S1 standard. And then lower the square wave just a tiny bit, not that much. And then we'll want to bring up the saw right into the 90s range. Let's put it at 98, 99, there we go. And then we're going to want to increase the sub, and you're going to hear a lot of that oscillator come in. And that just really sounds nice, right around 190. All right, and then last thing, to get a little more buzziness to the square wave, we're going to open up, hit Shift +6, opens up the chop. And what we're going to do is chop off the last 4 of these. And so you can hear that changes the sound. All right, close back out of that. And then I actually transpose all of it down 1. I just think that sounds a bit better. All right, getting into the filter, we're going to bring this filter down right around 150s, and so that'll really cut out quite a bit of it. Let's put it right 160. We're going to want to increase the envelope, how much the envelope affects the filter, to right around 80. We're going to max out keyboard tracking all the way to 255, and then we're going to boost up the resonance pretty high, medium high, right around 90. Yeah, anything above 120 is probably too high, but I'd like it right around 95, let's say. Next, let's do the ADSR envelope, and so the standards will just look like that. And so I'm going to put the release right around 100 to start, but probably increase it as it goes on. I'm going to lower the sustain to right around 200, so it's not too high. Increase the decay, and then last but not least, hit Shift and Poly. And we're going to want to move that all the way to mono. And the Roland SH-101 was a mono synth, and so you see on Poly you get those releases overlapping. With the mono you don't get that. Getting into the LFO, I'm going to set the LFO to modulate the filter, and I'll put that right around 47. And then increase the speed, but I actually don't want it free running. I want it to be synced to the keys. And to do that, go into LFOK, turn that on. Perfect, and then that will be set to the reverse saw. Alright, great. For PWM, we're going to want to set the PWM source to envelope, PWM mount to somewhere right around 80. And then for this, I actually forgot the sub-octave to -2 OA. Oh, must have actually already turned that. So you need to hear that really changes the sound. There we go. Other things, we have the envelope will still be set to trig. Amplitude will still be set to the envelope as well. Other than that, delay will be set to 0. I don't use any delay. I don't really think the original song uses that much for this particular part. For the reverb, I'm going to bump that up pretty significantly high, probably 150 for now, but I would turn it up as the song goes on. And then we'll go into the reverb menu. I think that Hall 1 sounds the best for this, personally. You could try different ones. Going into time, I think it sounds really good. Right over 100, maybe 115. The level, I always turn down the level. Sometimes, some people have it all the way up to 255. I think that's too high. I put it right around 190. I think that doesn't overtake like the main sounds. Then we go into the pre-delay. I have that set all the way to 100. the low cut, I always do a bit of low cut. So typically things will be set to what's called flat, which means it's not cutting anything. Whereas 250 will just be cutting off some of the lows, and then high I have set to 12.5. So same thing, but on the high end. Density all the way up to 10, which is the max. And then the product sounds like this.